Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into Tang Dynasty China today.
Ooh, exciting.
It is. We're going to explore the life and wisdom of Renjie.
Renjie, the Tang Dynasty official.
Exactly. He's often compared to water.
Water.
Yeah, for his unique blend of strength and flexibility.
I see.
He was a master at navigating, tricky political situations.
I get it. Like political waters.
Right. And we have some lecture excerpts on Renjie's political wisdom.
Oh, cool. This is going to be good.
I think you'll be pretty amazed by his strategic genius.
I'm ready. Let's hear it.
So this water metaphor, it really shines a light on Renjie's approach to power.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about water.
All right.
It can be so powerful.
Yeah, definitely. Like it carves canyons.
Exactly. And powers those hydraulic presses.
Right. Super strong.
But it's also adaptable. It flows around obstacles. It changes its form.
Yeah, it goes with the flow.
That's Renjie.
Wow, that's a pretty powerful image.
It is, right. But how did he actually embody this water wisdom?
Especially in Wu Zetian's court.
Yeah, exactly. She was known for being ambitious.
And having a very firm grip on power.
For sure. So how did Renjie thrive in that kind of environment?
And stay loyal to the Tang Dynasty.
Right. It's remarkable. One story that really shows this is about his imprisonment.
Oh, tell me about this.
So he was falsely accused, right?
Uh-huh.
But he confessed to the charges.
Wait, he confessed, even though he was innocent?
Yep.
That doesn't make any sense.
It seems counterintuitive.
It really does.
But this shows his adaptability.
Okay, I'm listening.
He understood that staying alive was the most important thing.
So he could fight another day.
Exactly. By confessing, he made sure he wasn't totally eliminated.
I guess that makes sense.
It's like that saying, as long as the Green Mountains remain...
there will always be firewood.
Yeah, that's the one. Renjie knew that to reach his goals.
We had to ride out the storm.
Exactly. Even if it meant making a move that seemed like a compromise.
So he was playing the long game.
He was. He was biding his time.
Very smart.
Yeah, he was being pragmatic.
Recognizing that going head-to-head with Wu Zetian wouldn't help him.
It wouldn't achieve his ultimate purpose. And remember...
his loyalty was to the Tang Dynasty.
Yeah, which Wu Zetian had usurped.
Right. So Renjie's goal was to bring back the Tang.
Exactly. And that meant being strategic.
And subtle.
Yes. It sounds like he was walking a tightrope.
Serving the Empress while secretly trying to, undermine her dynasty.
That's a good way to put it. How did he manage that?
Well, Renjie understood something about Wu Zetian.
What's that?
She was ambitious, yeah.
Definitely.
But she wasn't reckless.
Interesting.
She really valued stability and good governance.
So he made himself useful.
Exactly. He became an advisor she could depend on.
Someone she could rely on.
For sound advice. He even earned her respect.
And affection.
The lecture mentions she called him Guolao.
Ah, like a nickname.
Yeah, kind of endearing.
That's interesting.
And during their travels, she always made sure he had his own room.
Oh, wow. Special treatment.
A rare privilege.
It sounds like he was very carefully balancing things.
Gaining Wu Zetian's trust while working towards the Tang restoration.
Right. Did he see those as, conflicting loyalties?
Not necessarily. He knew Wu Zetian's rule provided stability.
For the time being.
Exactly. He supported her effectively.
But always with that bigger goal in mind.
The return of the Tang Dynasty.
And how was he going to achieve that?
He knew he had to convince Wu Zetian to name her son as her successor.
Li Xian, the rightful Tang heir.
Right.
That must have been incredibly difficult.
Yeah, especially since Wu Zetian had her own ambitions.
For her own family, the Wu clan.
So convincing her to basically hand power back to the Tang lineage?
Not easy at all.
Definitely not. But here again, you see Renjie's water wisdom.
Okay, tell me more.
He knew brute force wouldn't work.
Of course not. He had to be like water.
Persistent.
Wearing down resistance.
Finding those weak spots.
Exactly. And, Wu Zetian was superstitious.
Oh, really?
She believed in dreams and omens.
So Renjie used that to his advantage. I knew it. He sounds like a very clever guy.
He was. One great example is the parrot dream story.
Ooh, a parrot dream. This sounds interesting. Tell me everything.
All right, so Wu Zetian had this dream.
Okay.
And in it, she saw a parrot.
A parrot?
Yes, but with a broken wing.
A broken wing? What does that even mean?
Well, Renjie saw his chance.
To interpret the dream.
Yes. He told Wu Zetian that the dream meant she was missing one of her wings.
Her wings. Was this some kind of metaphor?
It was. He was talking about her son, Li Xian.
The one in exile.
Exactly.
So he used her own dream to advocate for his return.
Never, right.
Super clever. playing right into her belief system.
He suggested that bringing Li Xian back would make her whole again.
Like a parrot with two healthy wings?
Precisely.
Wow, he was good. And it wasn't just dreams. He also used, well, a game.
What game?
It was called Shuanglu. It's like chess.
Interesting.
In another dream, Wu Zetian was losing at Shuanglu.
Oh, no. What did that mean?
Renjie had a clever interpretation for that, too.
I bet he did.
He said it meant she wasn't valuing her son enough.
Her son.
Yes, Li Xian. He said he was her most important piece.
They're like on the board of life.
Exactly.
He really knew how to read a situation.
And use everything to his advantage.
That's for sure.
But he didn't stop there. He also appealed to Wu Zetian's sense of legacy.
Her legacy.
And her religious beliefs.
Okay.
She reminded her about something important.
What was that?
That if she chose a member of the Wu clan as heir, something bad might happen.
Oh, no. What?
She might be forgotten in ancestral sacrifices.
Oh, wow. That's a big deal.
Right. Especially for someone so concerned with her place in history.
And the afterlife.
Exactly.
So it's like a multi-pronged approach.
Emotional appeals, dream interpretations, and maybe even a bit of fear.
To persuade her.
Yeah, it was pretty clever.
Was he the only one trying to sway Wu Zetian?
Or did others also see the need for the Tang to return? Well, Renjie was super important in all this. But he wasn't working alone.
Oh, really? So there were others who wanted to restore the Tang.
Yeah, the lecture mentions this other minister, Jishu.
Jishu, okay, so how did he try to convince Wu Zetian?
Well, Jishu, he was a sharp guy. He understood that power wasn't just about, official positions.
I see. So it was about more than just who had the highest rank.
Right. And he knew that Wu Zetian had these two young lovers.
Lovers. Oh, you mean Chengzong and Zhang Yizi.
Yes, them. And they had a lot of influence over her.
Even though they weren't high-ranking officials?
Exactly. They had her ear, So Jishu saw an opportunity.
To go through them.
To persuade them, yeah.
But wasn't that risky? Wu Zetian could be pretty ruthless.
True, but Jishu was smart about it. He didn't threaten them or anything.
So how did he approach them?
He appealed to their sense of, self-preservation.
Self-preservation? What do you mean?
He made them think about the future. What would happen to them when Wu Zetian died?
Oh, I see. She was a lot older than them.
Exactly. And their influence depended entirely on her favor.
So when she was gone, they'd be left with nothing.
Precisely. They were in a very precarious position.
It's like a house of cards.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So Jishu offered a solution.
What was that?
Support Li Xian as the crown prince.
Ah, I see. So that they would be on the good side of the future emperor.
And ensure their own safety and continued influence.
Wow, that's some strategic thinking. Did it work?
It did. The brothers agreed to support Li Xian.
Amazing. So did Wu Zetian buy it?
Well, she wasn't fooled.
Yeah.
She knew that Jishu was behind their sudden change of heart.
Oh.
But instead of getting angry, she summoned him to court.
She wanted to confront him directly.
It seems that way. It must have been a very tense moment.
I bet. What did Jishu do?
He used the opportunity to make a passionate plea for Li Xian's return.
He just went for it.
He did. And he argued that it was in Wu Zetian's best interest, too.
To bring her son back.
Yes. He said that restoring the rightful heir would bring stability to the empire.
And make the transition of power smoother.
Exactly.
Wow. So we have Renjie working through dreams and omens, Jishu working through Wu Zetian's inner circle.
It was like a multi-pronged attack.
And they both emphasized the benefits of restoring the Tang Dynasty.
Long-term stability, the rightful heir, all that.
Did all this pressure finally work on Wu Zetian?
It seems so. The lecture says she eventually gave in.
She agreed to bring back Li Xian.
Yeah, from exile.
Huh.
But even then, Renjie didn't relax.
Oh, why not? Li Xian's was coming back.
True, but Renjie knew appearances were important.
I see what you mean.
Just bringing Li Xian back wasn't enough.
He needed to make sure his position was secure.
Exactly. And that's where, you guessed it, his water wisdom comes in again.
Tell me everything.
Well, when Wu Zetian presented Li Xian to Renjie, it was all very casual.
Just like, hey, here's your son back.
Pretty much. But Renjie knew they needed something more.
Something more formal.
Much more. He demanded a grand public ceremony.
A ceremony for what?
To welcome Li Xian back, officially, as the crown prince.
So everyone would see and know.
That Li Xian was back, and that he was the heir.
No more ambiguity.
No more questions. It was a brilliant move.
It really was. He made it much harder for Wu Zetian to change her mind later.
Or for her Wu clan nephews to try and take over.
It's like he was always thinking 10 steps ahead.
He was a master strategist. He understood that political power is fluid.
Like water.
Exactly. You have to adapt, maneuver, seize every opportunity,
And his goal was always the restoration of the Tang Dynasty.
even if it meant working within the court that had taken it over.
It's such a fascinating story. But sadly, Renjie died before seeing the Tang fully restored.
That's right. And the lecture mentioned a coup.
The one that finally brought the Tang Dynasty back to power.
Yes. It makes you wonder what role Renjie might have played.
Yeah, it makes you think, did he, plan for this?
If possible, right?
I mean, he spent years, building connections, advocating for the Tang, placing people in important positions.
His laying the groundwork.
Exactly. It's like, what if this was all part of his plan, even though he wouldn't be alive to see it?
Like a long-term strategy? It's pretty amazing to think about.
It is. But if that's true, it kind of makes you wonder about Renjie's philosophy.
His political philosophy.
Yeah. Like, was he okay with using any means necessary?
Even violence.
Yeah, to achieve his goals.
That's a tough one. Historians still debate this.
They do.
Yeah. Some say he was a pragmatist, adapting to the situation.
Like water.
Right. And don't forget, he lived in a chaotic time.
Wu Zetian coming to power. That was a huge shift.
Exactly. It showed that traditions could be broken.
So maybe Renjie realized something.
That restoring the Tang Dynasty might need more than just cleverness.
More than just words.
Maybe.
It's a good reminder. History isn't always simple.
No, it's messy. Full of twists and turns.
Even the most principled people, they have to make tough choices.
Right. It's all about navigating power and the possibility of conflict.
It's what makes Renjie so interesting.
He wasn't just a strategist. He was a complex person.
Dealing with real dilemmas and a huge responsibility.
He wanted justice. He wanted order. But he knew those things weren't easy to get.
It's a really human story.
It is. So, thinking back on Renjie, what can we learn from him?
That's a good question.
I think, first, there's that water wisdom. It's a lesson for us today.
About adapting and being resilient.
Exactly. True strength isn't about being rigid. It's about being flexible.
Going with the flow, but not losing sight of what you want.
That's so important even now. The world keeps changing.
Throwing us curveballs.
Right. We need to adapt. Think strategically.
I like that. What else?
Renjie also shows us how important it is to understand power.
How it works. Who has it?
He was incredible at reading people, understanding what they wanted,
and using that to his advantage.
To get things done. He knew that to make real change, you sometimes have to work within the system.
Even if the system is messed up.
Yeah. He was a realist.
He was also really persistent, never gave up on his goal.
Even when it seemed impossible.
Bringing back the Tang Dynasty. Like water slowly wearing down resistance.
And eventually changing the course of history. That's a great way to put it.
Anything else?
One last thing. I think Renjie makes us think about the ethics of leadership.
Like, what's the right way to lead?
Yeah. And how do we pursue justice? He reminds us that good goals don't always have easy solutions.
Sometimes you have to make hard choices.
The path to a better future isn't always clear.
It's a complicated legacy.
But it's fascinating. Renjie, the water official.
He gives us so much to think about.
About human nature, about power, about finding a balance between your principles and what's actually possible.
This has been such an interesting deep dive.
It really makes you want to learn more about this period.
I know, right? About Wu Zetian, the coup, everything.
So much to explore.
I hope our listeners feel the same way. Renjie's story is like a window into another world. A world of political intrigue, ambition, and that age-old fight for power.
It's amazing how much it still resonates today.
It really is. It shows us the complexity of leadership, the importance of being resilient, and how ancient wisdom can still be relevant in our modern world. So keep exploring, keep asking questions, keep diving deep into history. You never know what you might find.